Also we discussed it, right? The sales ID and item, and then customer ID, customer name, address, and then phone number, the customer phone number also, and date when the transaction has been recorded, and then material and material name, type, and price of the material and quantity. This is one of the example, so which contains the redundant information or duplicate information, because the customer ID, name, and address, phone number, this will repeat. So whenever there is a transaction in this, let's take any material. So if there is a customer, then the customer name and address, phone number will be repeated. Same like materials. If one material is purchased by multiple customers, the material uh, ID, of course, ID is okay, and then name and type has to be repeated in this case. So that's why we split this table into multiple tables, 3 tables. Okay, so that we can make sure there will not be any duplicates or any redundant information. Okay, so you see, no, we have three different tables. The first one is where we can see customer information, customer ID, customer name, and customer address, and phone number also. So that's why we will call this one is customer master data. Master data is nothing but it will holds the master information, the master data, which will involves in the transaction. We'll discuss what is transaction. Master data does not contain any duplicate values. Okay, so it will not contain any duplicate values. So duplicate means based on the primary key. Again, based on the primary key, there should not be any duplicate information. Okay, so we have customer related information here. That's why we will call as customer master data. Same here, material related information we have. So that's why we'll call as material master data. So this one customer master data, and then this one is material master data, material information we have. Okay, and the third table we have transaction information. You see, we have transaction information. So that's why we will call this table as transaction data table. So if you observe this table, of course, order ID is required, sales order ID, and then item also required, and then customer ID is required. So why? Because we have to know which customer involved in this transaction, and then of course transaction date or order creation date, and then material. So which material he purchased or ordered, and then the material price and quantity. Okay, so this is uh, transaction data. So transaction data is nothing but if you have key figures, or if there is a transaction in the business, transaction data will be generated. Of course, we have master. Okay, so different master data. If that masters are involved in the transaction, then transaction data will be generated. Okay, so in the business, obviously we have transaction. Okay, so we are selling the goods and customers are purchasing those goods or products. So when we are selling and the customer is purchasing, no, then transaction will be generated. So that will be recorded in this table, transaction data table. Okay, so we have master data table and then transaction data table. So master data does not contain any duplicate information, whereas transaction data contain duplicate information. Duplicate information means no, I can do the same transaction one more time also. I can purchase, for example, I purchased one material. So tomorrow also I can purchase the same material. Okay, so this year I will purchase the same material for 20 times or 30 times. Okay, so transaction data contains duplicate information, where master data does not have any duplicates based on the primary key. Okay, sales ID. Okay, so we will call as characteristics. Okay, characteristics are nothing but it's which will give the detailed information about the key figures. It will give more information about the key figures, or it is non-measurable objects. We cannot measure them. Those are characteristics. So if you are measuring, then those are key figures. If you are measuring, okay, then those are key figures. So can you tell me in this table, so what are the characteristics and what are the key figures? You know what is mean by measure, right? So if you are measuring, then those are key figures. If you are not measuring, then those are characteristics. Can you tell me in this table,
Quantity plays
quantity is
key figure.
characteristic? Okay, key figure, very good. So quantity is key figure only, obviously. Good. Next,
Item is key figure.
item is key figure.
LCD is characteristics.
It's
Mhm.
also key figure, sir.
Customer
Which one
ID
is customer also key figure?
characteristics.
It is characteristic. Okay.
And material ID. Material
Material ID key figure or characteristic?
characteristic.
Characteristic. So item is key figure. I mean to say.
Yes.
Okay. So of course, item in your point of view, if I want to calculate number of items, obviously that is key figure. But in this case, item is 1, 2, 3. Don't think I am just like counting this. Item is not key figure. Item is characteristic only. Okay, even customer ID also characteristic only. It's a key actually. Keys are mostly like characteristics only. So date also characteristic. Material also characteristic only. Price. What about price?
Key figure, sir.
It's a key figure. Price and quantity. These two columns only key figures. Remaining all are characteristic only. Okay. So these two only we can do the measure. Okay, so I can just add this one also quantity I can add. Okay, so if I want to generate the revenue, okay, or total amount, I can just do the multiply. So 200 into total amount, I need total amount, I can do 200 into 2. So because this material price is 200, he purchased two quantity, so 200 into 2, 400, like that. So these are like, actually the measurable quantities or measurable objects. So these two are key figures. Okay, so key figures are measurable objects, characteristics are non-measurable objects. Okay, so in this table, in the customer master data table, this is the customer master data table. In this customer master data table, how many characteristics and how many key figures we have? Yes, all are characteristics only. So there is no key figure in this table. How about this table?
Same.
Same. This is also same. So mostly master data contains characteristics only. Okay. So of course we can add key figures also. Okay. So there is a different scenario, but master data contains mostly characteristics only. Transaction data contains the combination like characteristics and key figures. Why characteristics are required for transaction data? Of course, if there is a transaction, definitely key figure should, at least one key figure should be there. If there is a transaction, okay, for example, I am purchasing, okay, one, let's take 1 dozen bananas. Okay, then banana ID is a characteristic. Okay, so the quantity 1 dozen or 2 dozens or 12 pieces, again it's a key figure. Okay, and then price, so price is again key figure. And then maybe like person or customer also, ID or name and all, it's a characteristic only. So in this scenario, like a price, banana price is like, again it's a, let's take 50 rupees, that is a key figure. So how many dozens you are purchasing? So 1 dozen is 50 rupees, like that. How many dozens? Maybe 2, 3, like that. Okay, so that is again key figure only. So if there is a transaction in the business, definitely there should be a key figure. Okay, so that's why in the transaction data we have at least one key figure. We have key figures. I will move to the next topic. So what we are going to do, actually yesterday we had a discussion, right? So we have SAP system and also BW system. So two systems, SAP. So it's a ERP system. Okay. So BW also, it's not ERP system. It's a data warehousing concept system. It's a storaging area where we can store the data. So we can see history information in the BW. Okay. So in one of the interview, one guy yesterday he attended one interview as a fresher in Hyderabad, our trainee only. Okay. So they asked, we have SAP system, right? I can do the reporting on SAP. Then why BW is required? That is his question.
Oh, SAP, SAP will give the current values, current data or current transaction history, where BW is having the history of transactions from from starting to till ending.
Yeah. Give the latest information. For example, I have one order. That order is changed 10 times. That no, then the 10 times history will not show in the SAP. The what is the latest information will show in the SAP. But in the BW, the order is changed 10 times. How it is changed, that those 10 history information I can see in the BW. Also, I can store the data, huge volume of data I can store. Okay, I can do the reporting. It's a flexible reporting in the BW. Okay, so also we can send the data from BW to some other targets also. Again, after doing some calculations, we have certain options in the BW. After doing some calculations, if you want to send data to third-party systems, yes, we can send. So those many benefits we have in the BW. So that's why very simple answer. Okay. So we have SAP system and we have BW system. We have to extract the data from SAP to BW system. Extract. We have to load the data from SAP to BW system. Why? Because it's a data warehousing concept. It's a BW is like a storaging area. So if I want to access the data from SAP to BW, there should be one connection. Okay, that connection we will call as RFC connection, remote function call, RFC connection. So through this connection only we can extract the data from SAP to BW system. Okay, so SAP is OLTP system, BW is OLAP system, OLTP and OLAP. So online transaction processing, online analytical processing. We can do the analysis in this BW. We can have real-time transactions in the OLTP. So OLTP and OLAP. So very rare questions people will ask, like nowadays no one is asking. It's also one of the interview question. What is the difference between OLTP and OLAP? So we can tell the same in the OLAP. OLTP stands for online transaction processing. OLAP stands for online analytical processing. So SAP system we will call as OLTP system. BW system we will call as OLAP system. And then in the OLAP system, we can see the history information. OLTP, we can see the latest information. The live data, I can see OLTP. And then OLAP, we can see the history information. OLTP is a two-dimensional model. We'll see what is two-dimensional. OLAP is like multi-dimension. We have multiple dimensions. Okay, in the OLAP. And then also we can have the limited reporting. Limited reporting means, of course, I can do the reporting on the SAP systems, but the flexible is like very limited. Whereas in the BW, I can do the flexible reporting. Flexible reporting means like, I can do certain calculations, I can apply some formulas, conditions, everything, and I can apply, I can do the reporting as per the requirement. Okay, so I have more options to do the calculations or restrictions or applying formulas. So whereas in SAP, it's very minimal. Okay, so that is the difference between OLTP and OLAP. So finally, once you loaded the data to the BW system, we need to generate the report. Okay, so for example, I need what is my sales yesterday. Okay, let's take in one of the plant or one of the company code or company. Okay, so if you want to know, like, then if you have the report, then you can easily check. So what is my sales, and then how much stock I have for that for this month, especially for this material. What is my current stock? What is my yesterday stock? What is my John first stock for that material in this plant? Okay, so like that, if you want to know the status, okay, so we can generate the reporting, so that no, one time only we will generate the report. So once data is every day, we will refresh the data from SAP to BW. Every day means like first time we will load everything. We will call that is full, okay, to BW. After onwards, if there are any transactions, the latest information only we will load. If there are any changes or any new transactions in the SAP, those information only we will load to BW. So that one we will call as delta. We'll see what is full and delta later. Okay, so once data is refreshed, we like here user can see the latest information in the report. So once business hours are completed, generally once business hours are completed, let's take in India, mostly we will close the shops 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Let's take after 11 o'clock, there will not be any business. Let's take in my business. Okay. Then after 11 o'clock, I will start the loading from SAP to BW. Next day morning, user can check yesterday what is my sales, which product more sold out, in which plant or which company, like that. Okay, so finally we can do the reporting if the data is available. The reporting again, once data is loaded to BW system, because BW is a storaging area where we can see history information, we can do the reporting, okay, using a tool called BEX, Business Explorer. Is an add-on tool where SAP has given along with the BW, BEX Business Explorer. So if you want to use BEX, of course you can use. Okay, so some people's what they will do, no, okay, I don't want BEX. Okay, so I need the BO, business objects. So that is also one of the reportings I can use. We have many reporting tools. Okay, reporting tools. So okay, so Power BI, Tableau, okay, or any other third party tools, even BO also. BO also again, it's no, when BO was introduced, business objects, so it's not in the SAP. Okay, so that time I think in 2011-12 there was a huge demand for this BO. Then SAP purchased this tool. Now we are calling this SAP BO only. SAP BO also SAP product only now. SAP purchased this tool. Okay, so now BO also SAP product only. So if you are doing reporting on the BO side, business objects, where we have flexible options to display the report, okay, the graphical way, okay, or tabular way. So we have flexible options in the BO. So if you are using BO report also directly, I can access from the BW, okay, or I will generate the BEX report. From BEX report, you can access BO. Why? Because I can do more calculation in the BEX. So as per the requirement, I can do the calculation. I can access to BO. Again, I can generate BEX report. I can access to Power BI. So that is also possible. Power BI. I can create BEX report. I can access to SAC. It's the latest one now. SAP Analytics Cloud. It's a cloud-based reporting tool. I can access to SAC. Okay, so those many flexible we have. So that's why people will use BW. Okay, so I can store history information. If user want BEX, they can use BEX because most of the options we can have in the BEX only. We also having AFO. It's also add-on only. Okay, so this AFO also like no, we can do the reporting. It's a Excel. Okay, so we can do the reporting where we have flexible. Okay, this is also add-on only. So analysis for office. Or I can send this data to other third-party systems. Let's take a data lake. Okay, data lake. I can send data to other third-party systems also. Okay. So that is the purpose, like no, we are using BW. Okay. So source for the BW, what is the source for the BW? Source is nothing but where the data is available, where you are extracting the data. SAP is one of the source, main source to BW. Okay. Also, you can extract the data from non-SAP system also. So non-SAP systems also, I can extract the data. So non-SAP system is nothing but to say, let's take Oracle. Okay. And if you have any other MSBI, okay, from there also I can extract the data from non-SAP systems to SAP BW system. Let's take flat file, Excel. Flat file is nothing but Excel only. Okay, so if you have Excel, so my data is stored in my Excel sheet. So I want to generate the report in the BEX. So that Excel I can upload into the BW. Then I can generate the report in the BEX. Okay, I will apply certain calculations. I can store the data also, history information. Then later I can generate the report. Okay, so SAP system, non-SAP system, and also any DB connections. I have some other database connection. Let's take data lake only. From there, I can access to BW. I can send and also I can access also. So like that, we can have multiple sources in the BW, not only SAP. So I can access the data or I can extract the data from the multiple source systems, either it is SAP or non-SAP, other flat file, DB connection, UDIC universal database connection, or any internet also. So our data is stored in the internet. Okay, so from there also, like I can access the data to the BW. Okay, so that's why so people are widely they are using, the customers are using BW system. But obviously when I say BW, it's a storaging area, the older version, new version, the latest version, we have different versions. So what we are going to learn is like a older version we are going to learn, BW version, people will call traditional BW. Traditional BW. So this one we are going to learn. Okay, so it will be absolute. SAP has given 2027 end of December. Okay, this will be closed. Okay, so SAP will not support. Of course, there is a chance to extend, but as of now, 2027 only. Okay, then we have BW on HANA, HANA database. In this BW traditional version, BW is using Oracle database. But BW on HANA, BW is using HANA, its own database called HANA, okay, to improve the performance. So as per our design, data flow design, so SAP introduced its own database called HANA. It's like an in-memory database, which is compared to this older version. So I observed lot of activities like compared to BW. It's very compared to this very performance-wise very speed. Okay, and then we have again the latest version BW for HANA. Okay, The version is like a 2.0. Or 2.0 SP4. Okay, so this is the latest version in the BW for HANA. BW, so we are going to learn first BW. Okay, so in the BW, like the data, I mean the data flows and database has been designed based on the schemas. So we have different schemas. Okay, star schema, extended star schema, hybrid schema, and snowflake schema. Different schemas we have. So we are using in the BW star schema and extended star schema. So this is very, very important, this two topic. Why? Because so you will get a rare question, you will get one question in the star schema or extended star schema. These are basics actually. So what is a star schema? Okay, a schema, first what is schema? A structure. Okay, so if you are storing any data, okay, so then it should be in a structure way. Okay, so that is a schema. So we have star schema and extended star schema. These two, of course we have hybrid and a snowflake also, but SAP is using like a star and extended. Of course hybrid and snowflake also, snowflake schema also it is there. It's also like so ETL process we have there also, but what we are going to learn is like a star schema and extended star schema. So what is star schema? In the star schema we have fact table. Okay, we have fact table. Okay, so we have fact table. Fact table is nothing but which will holds the fact information or transaction information. In simple way, fact table will holds the transaction data. Okay, so fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables or master data tables within a cube is called star schema. So fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables or master data tables within a cube is called star schema. Okay, so we'll see the diagram. This is the fact table. So in our example, if you remember, we have one table, transaction data table. We split that table into three different tables: customer master, material master, and transaction data. This is the fact table. This fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables or master data tables, main master data table within a cube. This is cube. So this is like a boundary. This is the cube. Okay, within a cube is called a star schema. Okay, so I have fact table and then it is surrounded by the master data tables or dimension tables within a cube. So that is star schema. Very, very important question. People will ask what is star schema. So what are the advantages in the star schema? So generally star schema will improve the loading performance as well as query performance. But compared to advantages, we have more disadvantages in the star schema. In the old version star schema, compared to advantages, we have more disadvantages. Compared to advantages, we have more disadvantages. The first disadvantage is master data cannot be reused to other cubes. Can you tell me why master data cannot be reused? For example, I have one more cube. Let's take I have one more cube. If I want to reuse this master data to my cube, I cannot reuse. Why? I have one more cube. Let's take. So I want to use this master data in my cube, then I cannot reuse. Why? So it is surrounded within a cube. I cannot take this master data outside of the cube, right? So that's why master data cannot be reused. That is one of the disadvantage. Okay. So since the fact table holds alphanumeric information, it degrades the DB performance, database performance. So what is mean by alphanumeric information? Alphanumeric.
Which contains both characteristics and numbers.
Very good. It contains characteristics and numbers. Characteristics ABC, also numbers 1, 2, 3. So it's a combination of alphanumeric. You can see alphanumeric information. It contains alphanumeric information. Generally, database performance will be improved if you have numeric information. But in the star schema, database will be stored in the alphanumeric format. That's why it will degrade the database performance. So we can use like a maximum 16 master datas. Here I can see 2 master data. So like that I can store 16 master datas only. 16 master datas only. Okay. So we can analyze the data only in 16 angles. Okay. So if I want to add one more master data, 17th master data or 18th master data, we cannot add. Only 16 master data only we can add. We can do the analysis based on this 16 master data only. So that's why that is like one of the limitation. So where we cannot use more than 16 master data in the star schema. Next, slowly changing dimension is not supported. Slowly changing dimension is not supported. So what is mean by slowly changing dimension? Dimension contains a characteristic which changes over a period of time. For example, so yesterday we discussed, for example, I stayed, I joined as a consultant, trainee. Okay. Then my designation was, trainee, SAP BW trainee. I joined like that. Okay. Later I became a consultant. BW consultant, let's take. So later I became senior consultant. Okay. Next, let's take team lead. Next, let's take assistant manager. Let's take now manager example. Okay. So this is my the designation changes. So let's take in 2010, I joined as a trainee example. Okay, then after 1 or 2 years, I became consultant. Then in 2014, so let's take I became senior consultant. So then somewhere 2017, I became lead. So then assistant manager. Somewhere 2021, let's take. So now 2024, let's take I'm manager. Okay. So like that, no, my employee, okay, employee designation is changing over a period of time. So in 2010, some date to this date, from date and to date we have. This date to this date, this employee is a training. This date to this date, this guy as a consultant. This date to this date is senior consultant. And this date to this date is team lead. From date to date, we have to keep from date to date. It should, okay. So this is like no slowly changing dimension, which can no this dimension contains a characteristic which changes over a period of time. Is called slowly changing dimension. Slowly changing dimension will not be supported in the star schema. Okay, so this is one of the disadvantage. This information will not be supported. Like that many, okay, like that your employee address will change. Next, multiple languages will not be supported. In SAP, okay, SAP will support multiple language. Around 72 language SAP will support now. 72 language. So of course Telugu will not support. Okay, English, German, some other languages like that. 72 languages SAP will support. Even in your Facebook or WhatsApp also earlier, so there was no Telugu typing, right? Now we can type or we can send the messages in Telugu, Tamil or Kannada like that. Like that, initially SAP is not supporting multiple languages, only English. Now, so SAP will support multiple languages. Okay, and if you log in into the system, the German, it will show all our German words only. Okay, so like that, SAP will support multiple languages, but no, in this star schema, multiple languages will not be supported. So these are the disadvantages in the star schema. To overcome these disadvantages, extended star schema is introduced. Extended star schema. They have extended the star schema. Star schema only. They have extended. What they have extended, we'll see what they have extended in the extended star schema. So in the extended star schema, fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables within a cube. Fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables within a cube. Master data tables are located outside of the cube. Outside of the cube. You see here, same fact table we have. We have dimension tables. Within a cube, dimension tables are located. But master data tables, you see master data tables, which is located outside of the cube. This is the cube actually, but master data tables are located outside of the cube. That is extended star schema. Star schema only. So here it is star schema. They have extended. So they have sent out master data to outside. That is extended star schema. So here, what are the advantages? So they have like overcome the disadvantages in the extended star schema. First one is master data tables cannot be reused in the star schema, right? Here, master data are located outside of the cube so that we can reuse the master data tables to other cubes. First disadvantage in the star schema, master data tables cannot be reused. Why? Because master data tables are located inside the cube. But in extended star schema, master data tables are located outside of the cube so that I can reuse the master data. How I can reuse the master data? So because it is located outside of the cube. Then how it is connected to fact table? How it is connected to fact table? When you are loading master data, SIDs will be generated only for primary keys. Only for primary keys, SIDs will be generated. This is also interview question. What is SID? You see, it's a surrogate ID. It's a 4-byte integer. 4-byte integer. Interview question. What is SID? SID stands for surrogate ID. It's a 4-byte integer. System will generate the SIDs. System will generate the SIDs. When you are loading master data, system will generate the SIDs. You no need to worry. Master data, either it is customer master data or material master data. Okay. Next, when you are loading transaction data into the cube, so dimension IDs will be generated. Dimension IDs will be generated. This dimension IDs also will be generated by the system. Okay, that dimension ID will refer the SID. Okay, this SID will refer the master data. Like that, it is connected. See, for primary keys, we have SID. Let's take C100, we have SID. For C101, we have SID. For that SID 2 and 3 dimension ID, we have 6 and 7. 6 and 7. These dimension IDs are connected to master data. So when I see C100, but front end I can see C100, back end display purpose I can see C100, but back end, see it is C100. What is my SID back end? Or what is my dimension ID in the back end? Very simple.
It
C100, right? C100 is
see,
connected to 2 is connected to 6. So you can see back end 6, 6 here. Here also 6, here also 6, here also 6. So if it is C101, let's take example. If it is C101, what is my dimension ID back end?
7.
So C101 3, it's a 7 actually. So like that, no, back end and numeric values are connected. Okay, but front end, in the front end you can see C100 only, display purpose. But if you see the numbers, we cannot understand, right? That's what front end you can see the like a alphanumeric only. So C100 like that. But back end, the data is stored in the numeric format only, in the form of dimensions. So this dimension will be connected to fact table. So this dimension ID will refer the SID. SID will refer the master data. So like that it is connected. Same like material also. So when I say M100, so what is the dimension value? So when I say M100, you see M100 for 4, what is 8? 8 is connected. Okay. So like that it is connected to fact table. Okay. So till now, do you have any doubts?
Yeah, yes.
Next, slowly changing dimension will be supported. So in the star schema, slowly changing dimension will not be supported. In extended star schema, slowly changing dimension will be supported. You know what is meant by slowly changing dimension. Okay. Then fact table will be surrounded by the 16 dimension tables only here also. Here also fact table will be surrounded by 16 dimension tables only. But each dimension tables can be connected to 248 master data tables. Let's take, no, if I take any table, we have 255 columns. 255 columns. SAP will use internal purpose 6 columns for maintenance. Let's take 6 columns are used by SAP for internal purpose. Remaining we have 249 columns in the dimension table. Let's take dimension table. Okay. So one column for primary key. Each table should have a primary key. One column for primary key. Then remaining how many we have?
249.
No. Means in one dimension table, I can connect 248 SID tables. One SID table is one master data. Like that, 248 SID tables means 248 master data. Like that, how many dimension tables I have? The fact table, how many?
248.
No. Fact table is surrounded by the dimension tables only. Here also 16 dimension table only. But each dimension table is connected to 248 SID table. Means 248 master data tables. 248 master data tables. Like that, one dimension table can be connected to 248 master data tables. Like that, how many dimension I have? How many dimension tables I have?
16.
16. Then 16 into 248. See, we have fact table will be surrounded by the 16 dimension tables. Those 16 tables can be connected to 248 master data tables, so that we can analyze the data 16 into 248. 16 into 248 means, so when I say fact table, it is also a kind of table. There should be primary key, right? There should be primary key. So fact table primary keys are dimension keys, because this dimension keys only connected to this fact table. No, dimension keys act as a primary keys in the fact table. These are all very important interview questions. Please go through once recorded is sent, then you just prepare your own notes also if required. Any table, how many columns we have?
255.
255 columns. SAP internal purpose 6 columns are used. Remaining,
One is primary key and 240.
One is for, yeah,
no.
240.
that is for dimension table. Yeah, what we discussed here is for dimension table. Now we are discussing for fact table. Any table, if I take 255 columns, that is common, right? That is common. SAP internal purpose, 6 columns are used. Remaining, how many columns I have?
249.
249. How many primary keys I have in the fact table?
16.
16.
16. So remaining, how many columns I have?
33.
233.
230.
233 columns I can use for key figures. This is very, very important. 233 columns I can use for key figures. So how many columns I can use key figures in the fact table? 233 columns. Which keys act as a primary keys in the fact table? Dimension keys. These are basics. Okay, when you are working now, you no need to worry what is star schema, extended star schema. But to clear the interview, these are the basics. What we have discussed till now, these are basic. 3 days we are discussing now. All are basics only. We didn't enter yet till to the SAP BW original topics. These are of course basics only. But these are interview questions also. Basic interview questions. What is star schema, extended star schema, slowly changing dimension, okay, primary key, foreign key, composite key, denormalized table, normalized table, normalization, OLTP, OLAP. So everything, these are like a basic questions. So I hope it is clear. Okay, tomorrow onwards we are entering into the real-time SAP topics, BW topics. First we'll go to BW topics.